This episode of Your Mic is brought to you by Speke Fest 2025 Night of the Living Pod. It is equal parts personal development, networking. We're going to have keynotes. We're going to have workshops, panels, and so much more. It's presented by and at the National Museum of Funeral History on October 10th and 11th. Buy your tickets now at speakpodcasting.com/SpeakFest2025. And speaking of, this episode features one of our workshop hosts. It is Bruce Chamoff, founder of World Podcast Network. Bruce is a true OG in the podcasting space. He's got over 1,200 shows in his portfolio. And during this conversation, we're going to dive into the evolution of podcasting from the early days of audio only to today's video first world. We're going to unpack the real power of having an RSS feed and so much more. And if you enjoy this episode as much as I did putting it together for you, please consider sharing with the host in your life and subscribing to Your Mic, wherever you get your favorite podcasts. So you've been at this since 2006 with the World Podcast Network, over 1,200 shows in your portfolio. Talk about what it was like back then. I was on the radio back then versus what it's like for you now. Like, you've seen so many changes. What has been your most favorite, least favorite, all that stuff?
That's a good question. Podcasting hasn't really changed in 20 years. It's other than the popularity of people getting into it. I think that the pandemic has created more podcasters because of the opportunities. People couldn't leave their homes. But it was always, and actually there's more video now than there was back in 2005 when I first started my podcast. It was mostly just audio. I don't even remember when YouTube launched. And I think if my facts are correct, YouTube was launched in 2007. So
sounds about
there were
right.
there were no video podcasts back then. So I think that's that's what changed. The great things is that people can now take a YouTube channel and create an entire podcast out of it. And YouTube itself has caught on and now allows you to upload a podcast episode in addition to just a regular video. And I think that really has changed. But other than that, it hasn't changed. I would say probably the least thing that I like is that podcasters no longer, like they did 20 years ago, are blogging about their episodes. And the reason why I say that is because other than the audio search engines, there's no content for Google to index, and now ChatGPT to index. So what I tell podcasters when I'm advising them is you have Anchor, you have Buzzsprout, Libsyn, max out your number of characters because Google is going to see that. And if you want to get followers, you need search engine content. Now you need AI search content. So, if you're going to just put a little blurb about your episode, you're not going to get anywhere. And that's what I think podcasters should be doing. And that would make it better.
It seems like it would also be a lot simpler. I don't like the word easy because nothing easy is in life, but it seems like it would be a lot simpler with the advent of all these AI tools as well. So if you have an indie podcaster who is using their show as an extension of their business and they're super busy, you and I were talking about how insane schedules can be, that if you got somebody who doesn't have someone to help them, they can pop it into a tool like right now we're using Riverside. They have their show notes feature. You can pop it into ChatGPT or Perplexity and ask it for a 500-word blog. And to your point, that 500-word blog as show notes, in quotes, would be more likely to get your show into the search engine?
I'm actually finding that that's not exactly the case.
Ah, okay.
I just found what happened was we added a podcast this week, and we tried to rewrite the Apple Podcast description. We wanted to make it our own. So I've been using ChatGPT to rewrite the descriptions for the last 6 months. And as of this week, I'm not doing it anymore. There are so many grammar and spelling errors on ChatGPT.
True.
And I really thought that with the advancements of AI, you would get none. It would be perfect, but it's not. So I am kind of on the fence about telling podcasters to use these AI tools. I mean, my advice is start with AI, but don't end with AI. And I think a lot of people are giving that advice.
Right. There are things that you want to correct. I mean, it could, if it was me doing what you're talking about with this interview, it would have your last name spelled with an S instead of a C. And then Bruce would probably be like with 2 E's and in a random space. So it'd have the first 2 correct. And then, So, I mean, it requires that helping hand, the human helping hand to break things up as well. I mean, there are tools that can help. I mean, you could always reiterate. But then at that point, if you're working 30 minutes on a single show description, might as well write the damn thing yourself.
Oh, I agree with you. I think that AI, and anybody will probably agree with this, the biggest advantage of using AI is to save time, right? But your creativity gets taken away. You're not yourself anymore. I don't know if you know, like what Fiverr's doing now. So Fiverr.com, they now launched 4 months ago, they launched the personal assistant. It's called Fiverr Go. And they're trying to perfect it to sound like a human being. And they still have a long way to go. But what Fiverr was doing was they were watching what all the sellers were typing. And the AI model was adopting the style of how every seller types to their customers, which I think is incredible. We didn't know this was happening. I mean, I do stuff on Fiverr, and nobody knew this was happening until they revealed it in the middle of, the beginning of this year. And I tried to use it. I'm still on the fence about that. But if you don't have the time to respond to a buyer on Fiverr, the AI will if you activate it, it will take over and talk for you, which is fine. And it helps you with your response rate because Fiverr requires a 24-hour response rate. If you don't respond to a new buyer within 24 hours, they penalize you. So the AI now helps you with that. But I don't like what it's saying.
Speaking on your behalf, and it's speaking stuff that you don't approve
of. Exactly. I mean, it's smart. It kind of, it doesn't really write in my style, but it uses the words that I've been using. So it's kind of intuitive, but you still need that human part of it. I think podcasters, I understand, I get it, that the show notes can be done with AI, but I really think that they need to take the time to edit what AI is writing for them. Mm-hmm. It's very important because you have to make sure that there are no spelling errors. And I found it out. I found this out the hard way twice already in the last month. And once was okay. I thought once was just kind of a minor glitch. Now it happened twice. And that is the red flag right there. When it happens more than once, So you as a podcaster do have to see what the AI is writing. And if you don't, then you might end up looking unprofessional. And I hate to say that, but that's the truth. So, that's my advice.
What is interesting to me is when we first met, we had our first chat, is that you come from this as a developer, web developer.
Yeah.
So you've got such a unique blend of skills and attributes that you're bringing to the podcast game.
Yeah.
And so I'd love to know what it is that's your favorite part about blending podcasting, which is creative, and then web development, which is, I would say, also creative, also more technical.
Okay. I can talk about that, but I want to make sure I stay as little technically as possible, right?
Sure.
I don't want to lose people when they hear it. I will say that probably the most technical part of podcasting and blogging actually is the RSS feed. And I do want to say in a non-technical way that RSS feeds are probably the least understood part of any podcast, but the most powerful marketing tool out there. Okay, I have a 20-minute video on why RSS feeds are so powerful, and a lot of people don't understand what they use them for, why they have them. But when you think about every single podcast streaming platform offers an RSS feed, that has to be a sign that it's a good thing. And we have people signing up for the World Podcast Network that they put this street address where it says RSS feed. Okay? And I don't know if that's like being filled in by Google, but it's amazing, because what it does, and I explain it like this, RSS feed stands for really simple syndication, okay? Syndication is exactly what the important part of it is. It's like a television show, okay? I always explain Seinfeld, okay? So we take Seinfeld from the 90s. It was on NBC, okay? Before it went off the air, people can get it on NBC, and only new episodes at that time. Now you can get Seinfeld on Netflix. Okay. At one point, you got it on Hulu. Well, what's Netflix really doing? Okay, we're in 2025 now. Netflix is doing nothing other than syndicating Seinfeld. And syndication really means taking your content from the original place and putting it somewhere else. And I think that's amazing, right? So podcasters can use this to their advantage, right? You have an RSS feed. A website owner says, look, I really like your podcast. I want to put your episodes on my website. Can you send me the MP3s? Can you send me the information? Yes, I can do that as a podcaster, or I can give you my RSS feed. The RSS feed will handle all that. It has the MP3, which they call an enclosure. It has a description, has a title, and I can take my RSS feed from my podcast, your podcast, anybody's podcast, and give it out to anybody. Okay, and if they have an RSS feed reader on their website, that's it. Your podcast is syndicated, and you don't have to do anything else. It's autopilot, right? You come out with a new episode 5 months from now, it's going to be on that website that's using RSS feed. To me, that is the most powerful thing about podcasting on the technical sense. And for people that don't know web design, that's okay. You just need the address. So, and the surprising thing about Apple is that everybody thinks that Apple is hosting your podcast. They are not. All they're doing is hooking in your RSS feed, right? So that kind of should tell podcasters how powerful this is. Without the RSS feed, you can't get on the Apple, right? Spotify hosts it, right? Because they used to be Anchor. So Anchor, Spotify, same company now. But I think iHeartRadio also, they use your RSS feed.
Yes.
So to me, that is the most important thing. As far as a web development point of view, I just love creating new features, right? I love envisioning it and putting it out there and seeing if it sticks against the wall. I think I've done some pretty cool things with the World Podcast Network. Like I built a portal. So podcasters were coming to us saying, can you change this description? Can you add this social media? I decided I'm just going to build a portal where they log in and they do it themselves. So to me, that's kind of the biggest accomplishment I've had with that. And, I hope that answers the question.
I love that breakdown. And it is, I've never heard someone describe an RSS feed in such an impassioned way and also in such a thorough way.
Thank you. That's
because
great. Yeah.
When people ask me, the most simple way for me to explain it is, well, it's like your podcast's social security number, and you need this to be able to get on all the podcast networks. And I mean, it works for me, but I love the breakdown because it really encapsulates what a podcast is and the benefits of having one. Because if you don't have one, you don't have a podcast. But Yeah, and also how you broke things down with Apple and Spotify too, because they're not your host.
Right.
For my clients, Omni Studio is their host.
Oh, okay.
So, or if it's someone else, Buzzsprout would be their host, or Libsyn or whatnot, and they syndicate through Apple and Spotify, who are also, by the way, not the largest podcast apps, but whatever. But I think it behooves a podcaster to know that yes, Apple and Spotify and even YouTube, who's the largest podcast app, it's important to have them on these apps. Also, take the RSS feed, and with how you beautifully gave that rundown. Yeah. You can syndicate on somebody's website. So if you are, let's say if you're an IT director and someone with a huge following has a website with hundreds of thousands of hits, they want Bruce's podcast. Oh yeah, here. It's my RSS feed. Boom. Lickety split, it's done. And back in the day, 80s, 90s, if you were to try and draw some kind of parallel, all right, well, here's my briefcase. I got my files, and here's a whole 100-page rundown of all of my shows. Yeah. But now
that's true.
Now all you do is email a link, and there's the RSS feed.
Yeah, I believe you mentioned Facebook and of course social media in general. I believe that Facebook used to allow developers to build apps on top of their platform. I don't see that anymore, but. Remember, when people were coming out with all the Facebook games, and there were a lot of RSS feed readers in the Facebook apps. Now, I believe if you were to post your podcast in your newsfeed in Facebook, or you have a Facebook page for your podcast, you post the RSS feed, and it should spit out. I think it spits out like your last 3 episodes. So to me, that's incredible.
Really, I've never. Yeah, got to try that today.
Yeah, try it today. I mean, I'm sure people hear this on your podcast. They'll probably do it the same thing. And I don't know if Facebook's still doing it. I mean, because I believe that what they did is kind of like the birthday feed. Like today's your birthday, and people are going on your news feed saying happy birthday. And my birthday was 2 weeks ago, so they go on your birthday, your Facebook, and they say happy birthday, Bruce. When you log in to Facebook the next day, they have all the birthdays in a little encapsulated frame, right? And it only shows the last 3 posts that people wished you happy birthday. Then it says, click here for more birthday wishes, right? I believe the RSS feed works the same way. So, you could try that. Give it a shot.
Talk about your podcast. What's your favorite thing about hosting your show?
Helping podcasters succeed. And that's the name of the show. Become a Successful Podcaster is the name of the show. I have my lovely co-host, Shari, right over to my right. I love helping podcasters. As the owner of a large podcast network, I get questions from people. People want, they hire me for advice, consultation. You're the same way. You have a podcast just like mine, so you probably get questions like I do. And you and I probably overlap in very, very much. So we probably deal with the same type of people, you and me, which is great. We have a lot in common that way. And we both love to help podcasters. So I like to make an episode off of the common questions I get. And you see a lot of those. You can go to Reddit, and you can see those as well. You go to Quora, you see those questions. A big question is, what kind of microphone do I use? I don't have a lot of money. How can I do it for free? Or how, if I buy a cheap microphone, that type of thing. Which I always tell people, do not podcast with a cheap microphone. I have episodes for all this. How do I market my podcast? What's the best social network? Is it Facebook or TikTok? Whatever, and I just, whatever people ask me. I mean, just last week, I had a consultation with a podcast I never thought I would actually hear. It's a unique title called The Bitcoin Lawyer. And it's exactly as it sounds. He's a lawyer that has a law firm that makes sure that you trade Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency safely and legally. And he has some pretty cool topics. I'm like, wow, I never thought that there would be anything for Bitcoin, like there'd be like Bitcoin law. But just the fact that you've made a podcast for this is incredible. So he was asking me how to monetize. Oh, that's another big one. I'm sure you get that question. How do I monetize my podcast?
I want to be a millionaire in 6 days.
Yep. You get that? Did you really get that question from anybody?
No.
You're exaggerating.
That's the mentality on the internet that I see. It's like, why am I not monetized? Like, do you have listeners?
Yeah. The only millionaire is Joe Rogan right now. and that just came from Spotify. Like, you know, maybe there's some others, but he obviously everybody knows him. But how do I monetize? How do I market? What's social media? How do I post? That whole thing. I'm like, you know, it's all out there. But they want me to podcast about it. I'm more than happy.
I want to go back to something you said about not podcasting with a cheap mic. And I want to know what your I want to know what your opinion of cheap is, and then
Okay.
I got thoughts.
I'm not going to mention a particular price. Like, I'm not going to say money. It's more about the quality.
Gotcha.
This microphone was $59 in Staples. Okay, it's not only powerful. It's the best microphone I've had, and I have used microphones that were $300 that weren't anywhere near as good as this. Okay. So you have to make sure that, first of all, I'm going to get a little bit technical. You want to make sure this is a cardioid microphone. Okay. There are 3 types of microphones as unidirection. If you have a cardioid, it picks up every, like a heart. And there's a unidirectional, which is not great because you don't know what direction you got to be in the right side of the microphone.
Someone changes directions, it's all over. Yeah.
And your audio is gone. So this is a cardioid. But the other cool thing about this is it's both an XLR and a USB. So
yes.
Here it is. Okay. So most podcast mics are, now Samson is a really good brand. Okay. I'm also a musician. I don't know if I told you that I'm a songwriter, and my podcast studio is also a music production studio. I've had Rena Freeman Watts on 2 of my songs. So I have to have a microphone that, believe it or not, when I'm recording my vocals or I'm recording my podcast, I need one for the USB right here, and I need one for the XLR. And I never knew that there was a brand of microphone that actually has both. I saw that in Staples. I'm like, I got to have that. How much is this? $150? I'm like, no, it's $59. Okay. And I bought 2 of them.
Yeah.
So that's what I will tell you real fast. I hate to say it. This is a terrible microphone for podcasting.
Oh my.
The Blue Yeti, the Snowball.
The Snowball it's
horrible.
Not a good mic.
It is horrible.
This is like the anti-endorsement.
Yeah, I hate to say it. I did a podcast and I did like a live thing, and everyone's like, Bruce, like I move this way. Everybody's like, we can't hear you, Bruce. I move that way. We can't hear you, Bruce. I'm like, so I got to be like a robot, and I got to stick like straight. And let me get myself in the center. I just get myself straight into the center of this microphone, and I can't be myself and move around and be as animated as I normally am. So I hate to say it, don't get a Blue Yeti Snowball.
The Snowball. It's just not, and so
it's popular too.
Right.
I don't get that, but
and so it seems like you're not just poo-pooing it for the heck of it. It's because you had an experience.
I bought it. You know, yeah,
right. Because I don't know why you would get it. Like I got it because I saw people using it and I'm like, and reading the Amazon reviews, which go with the mob. What's the thing with that thing is a Hemingway quote when you find yourself on the side of the mob, it's time to rethink or something. Yeah. And that's one of those cases. Just because a bunch of great Amazon reviews doesn't necessarily mean that, Don't come at us, Blue.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I think this is a Samson, and Samson to me makes the great microphones. Shure has always been in the microphone business, so Shure is great. But I've been using, as a matter of fact, I got a Samson behind me that I've had since the day I started podcasting. I've had it for 20 years. It's still in great shape. So, I tell people, make sure you have a very good, that's the first thing, right? I believe that anybody can talk into a microphone. Anybody can write a script. Anybody can write show notes, and anybody can do social media marketing if they have the time, right? Because social media marketing is very time consuming. It's easy, but it's time consuming. So the most important thing about podcasting is make sure you have a great mic. The rest of it falls into place.
Bruce, I would love to know who is on the Mount Rushmore of podcasters for you.
Oh, wow. That's a very good question. Wow. I got to think about that one. And I would probably say Joe Rogan, number one. I mean, he's probably the highest paid podcaster. I would also say, and I'll tell you why, I don't remember her last name, but Gretchen from the Mommy Cast. Now, okay. Mommy Cast is not a podcast anymore. But in 2005, when she started, her sponsorship was Pampers. And she had a $1 million sponsorship with Pampers in 2005. Okay. Wow. If you can land a $1 million sponsorship from a major brand, you need to be on Mount Rushmore of the podcasters. There's no doubt about it.
Especially at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other two spots would be you and me.
I'll take it.
There you go.
You're the second person that I've asked that question to, and the first person also put me, and I'm like, okay, first off, I do not deserve to be on any Mount Rushmore of anything unless it's like clowns.
No, you could. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you what. You and I are probably not big enough to do the George Washington or the Abe Lincoln spot, but we can definitely do the Teddy Roosevelt. I could be the Teddy Roosevelt, and you could be the Thomas Jefferson, and that would be it. I think that'd be kind of cool. So.
All right, I'll take it. Oh, man. Okay, so y'all, please check out Bruce and the World Podcast Network. It is worldpodcast.network. Not worldpodcastnetwork.com. It's worldpodcast.network. Tons of resources, blogs. You get to find out all the shows. There are over 1,200 in his network. And again, he is the OG when it comes to having a podcast network. Bruce, I really, really, really appreciate you taking the time to join this show.
Thanks, Freddie. I appreciate you having me. And you're going to be on my show as well.